goal of the interview, I'd made an agreement with a production company to do a film with them, and things changed at about 5 days ago, where doing a journal diary and just capturing this imagery of movement and things like this, and the dialogue of just an expedition changed for me, and it went into I think a deeper thing, a psychological thing, not just all right, this is what I do and this is how I go across the ice. And there's a lot of interesting things there. I can't get them out myself just straight at a camera. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. So, and just speaking with you, you seem to find interest in them. I thought maybe you could help me get them out. Just like, what's the real deal there? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And the fear is that, I feel myself being removed from what happened more and more every minute. By the time I go through a couple airports and I get into a production film company and I sit down, I'm not going to be the same guy anymore.
Totally.
So I want to see if there's some way I can capture it before it goes away. I could tell you that if you take the time to walk 700 miles across Antarctica, and I thought of this 100 times, they say the Inuits have, how many words for snow. Dude, that's small. If you really live in it, it would take you 10 minutes. It would not 10 minutes. It would take you not very long to really intimately understand that noise means an is a different snow, and it's going to change your day. You know what I mean? And do you know what I mean? And there's, I could tell you by looking across it just exactly how it's going to happen. That's not solid, but it looks exactly like that one. Yeah, but you see that fine sheen on it. I mean, it's just like a hair difference, That one to me should have a completely different name as that one, I guess my reason for bringing that up, the idea is that the process of something extremely foreign becoming familiar to you is an exciting one. It's like learning a new language. Everything went into just a void. All the things that I leaned on were gone. I mean, all the necessities except water, so you have food. And a lot of people use music all the time. I don't use music all the time. I only rely on music when I really need it. And music really touches my adrenaline system. You know what I mean? It just really, and I don't waste it. It shouldn't be used and get bored. You shouldn't. And man, I went for it. My iPod down. I just couldn't. GPS is down. Telephone system down. Communication with everybody down. Food down. It was just unbelievable. I think that if there's a creator, which everyone had, and he was actually interested in me and whatsoever, and was interested in he would just do that. Well, you want isolation? How about that? This, that, and you have it, baby. Because I went, wow, the only tether I have is in my imaginal world in my head and water. And the most brutal area in the world. I'm thinking, dude, yeah, it hurt not having her. But I think that if there is this amazing creator, he probably said, listen, all this shit's going wrong. You shouldn't be talking to your wife. 2, honey, I have no food. The stoves are working like this. You should hear the stoves, and they're going. They're not doing what. When you use the stove, you lose water. But stoves are barely going. And, what do you say? Do you lie? And what can she say? So maybe it was good though at the same time. Honey, shit, I'm dead reckoning here. At first, I have to explain to her what that is. Okay, a whiteout, honey. It's a real big skill, but you can learn it. You can get out of a tent, walk 100 yards, and come back in and get in your tent. Sounds easy, right? Now there's about 15 people in the world that can do it, right? Now I'm going to try to do that for 60 miles and get somewhere. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, that's, but don't worry. I shouldn't talk to anyone when you're in that state. Well, the first person character that my mind generated was at first comical, and it was for my dispatches. It was the sled, the pig. And in the dispatches were, online dispatches I would do, it was Todd Carmichael and, the pig. And I started using we. right? And I'm not sure if it was a mechanism that my mind was creating for itself, or it was me creating just to be humorous, but over a short period of time, and that was probably in the middle of the trip, then I allowed myself to communicate with the pig as much as I wanted. And it was jokingly, you know, and it started out with our nighttime arguments. Because I would lay in the tent and I couldn't sleep. I go, shut up out there, I can't sleep. And it's ridiculous, right? And it would just make me laugh. Would you just settle down and go to sleep? And then we'd be quiet. And then I'd say, no, you can't sleep in here. And it was just this couple minutes of communication with this pig. So, and then the dispatches, I would say, there were these ideas. I would say, well, the pig thinks, and now they're extreme ideas. The pig thinks that we have a shot at the world record and wants to go for it. But I was trying to explain to the pig, and this is some of my dispatches. I'm using the pig to use, you know, but deliberately to communicate ideas that I think are a little bit extreme, that probably might not have been said. The process then continues, that as things got harder, and, you know, I think that, you know, the stress of the expedition was bearing down on me. The pig, my attachment to the pig became very real, and not just for comedy anymore. You know, when you take your break, you know, you trek for a period of time, you take your break, I'd go sit on the pig and zip, and I would talk to her. I said, man, we're getting screwed today. This is, you know, and it was my time where I could just, okay, I'm going to get back there. Just hold on. Okay, we're going to be good. We'll be fine. Don't worry. Everything would be fine. And I'm talking to her like she's worried. And the connection, as we went forward, just kept becoming deeper and deeper. And I wasn't asking for advice or anything like that or expecting return, but yeah. And since I think that people are completely alone, they talk to themselves because alone, not because of the absence, but because they know no one else will hear them. And it's, you know what I mean? When you're completely in a place that you know no one will ever hear you, I think it's just human to talk to yourself. And it's much easier if you have an attachment to whoever that is. And the pig was my lifeline to the world, and she, you know, I could just talk to her. You know, oh, fuck today, man, this is not good. You know, and it was, you know, a lot of times, like I said, it was humor. Like if there was a bad day, I would tell her, you know, you've been dragging your feet, and yeah. It was weird because I actually went to kick her once because and I stopped and I felt so guilty, like I was gonna. And it's perfectly fine to kick an inanimate object and not be a cruel person. And I remember saying to myself, what kind of person are you? Because the snow was so thick that it was piling up in front of her. Like, I just wanted to give her a swift kick, you know. The pig. Okay, what happens is we spot the pole, and I'm elated. And I'm looking up, and I look down, and I think, and now I'm back just in expedition mode. I'm thinking, oh my God, it's 1:15, and there's the pole. It looks like half hour away. This is incredible. You know, this is amazing. Oh my God, elation. Suddenly everything bad just falls away, you know, and I start moving. Like I'm moving for like half hour, 45, and then suddenly, you know, the excitement wears off, and I look up. I'm not getting any closer, and now the physical part of it, I'm back down, and I'm drained, and the batteries are going down, and the worries start coming, and I realize at some juncture that thing's about another 8 miles away. You know, and the calculations start coming, and I don't have enough for 8 miles, and then so we're going to do it anyway. At one point, I can't pull the pig anymore, really. I mean, it was like, okay, no, I can't. Okay, well, now we're going to have to leave her behind, and now this is the last thing that I have. You know, last thing that I have. I mean, like I said, I've lost everything else. I have water, I have shelter, and I have the pig. All right? And the only way I think I can make it to the pole is to abandon those things, you know, and I think maybe it's a half mile away, but I'm tricking myself because I know what it's like, you know, out here you can't tell how far something is away, and it's an emotional separation and a physical one because I'm thinking, well, you can't drag your tent, you know, it's like, what are you gonna, you know, it's your tent and your pole are keeping you alive, so you have to leave, you know, one not so safe, but safe-ish place in the world to try to get to the ultimate safe place, which is back on the grid, you know, which is the South Pole. I thought at the time, realistically, this is going to mean I'm going to make history or I'm going to be the end of my life. This is what I knew exactly I was doing. Even this is the worst decision or the best one. Maybe it's going to be 20 minutes and we'll be there, And after 20 minutes, I turned around and I couldn't see the pig, and the pole wasn't any closer. And I think it was the next 4 hours. Just me and this little stick here with a camera on top of it. And the amount of steps I could take were getting shorter and shorter and shorter. At the end, it was saying, what I was doing is like, I was trying to be this realistic dude. At first I go, okay, 25 minutes, we're there. Then an hour, and nothing has changed. And then it was like, and I go, we've got maybe, I remember saying this, like 6 hours? All right, let's keep going. And I can make it 10 feet. I kept doing stupid things like that to try to pretend like, okay, this is normal. But I finally make it to the airstrip. But as I'm going forward, I'm getting more and more afraid. I don't know why. I'm getting really afraid. I'm getting closer and closer to safety, but I'm getting more and more and more and more afraid as I get close, to the point where I'm at the airfield that separates, basically, for me, all the Antarctica that I've traveled, this massive airstrip, and then the station. All I need to do is cross that airstrip, and I wouldn't do it because I was afraid to leave the polk. Because as soon as I did, I was afraid I wouldn't find my footprints back to her. And I walked up and down it, and I waved my hands, and I know it's totally illogical, and I took off to go back to the polk 2 or 3 times. But as I was walking back, I go, dude, I can't make it that far. And I was just, I'm not a crier, but I was just like, that's the time where you just so, and then I'd walk this way, and then I'd wave, and I'd wave, and I'd wave, and I would see things, and I'd wave. And all I needed to do was run across this stupid, like now it doesn't seem very like it. And it was Leah. Finally saw a little red dot in the snow, and then I was looking, and I could see the little I was waving their arms back, and I knew that's it. I can cross the strip now because she knew where I was. Because I know I was delirious too, and I didn't want to forget, and I didn't want to, because everything, my whole world was in that pig, and that pig meant everything. But I was trying to explain to everybody that I needed just give me some sugar, and I wasn't saying food. At first I was saying sugar. And then it occurred to me that I was really looking like a crazy man, so I thought, okay, I just need something to eat. Yeah. And they gave me cookies. That's right. No, they went into the comms room to see if they can call. Yeah, they said, just wait right here. So I sat back down, and you came over and gave me these 2 beautiful giant frosting desserts. And it was like, you just given me 5 Rolls Royces, a free house, and a trip to Paris. It was just like, it was the best thing I'd ever seen. Yeah, you were so, you want these? She goes, do you want these? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, so I just tried to eat the one without looking like an animal or someone who'd been living in the forest. Did you see that? Yeah, I was just trying to eat it. And then they said, okay, you can come in the comms. And I got the second one, and I get this irrational fear that they're not going to want, because they were telling me they couldn't feed me. Do you know that? They were saying, no, we can't do that. It's against the law to feed you. So I said, I know you have a gift shop here. I've been in it. It was in 2004. Is it open? And they go, no, well, it'll be opening at like 8. And it was like 10 hours away. And then I thought, oh, that's all right. I'll just lay on the floor. I'm fine. Anyway, they said, we're going to go to the communications room. And I had that second one. And I had this irrational fear that they were going to take it from me. And I ate it before we got there. I'm walking behind them like this, going, boop. And it's time for me to use the phone. I literally have chocolate on my face. I'm like, what? Told them I was fine, and tried to be Mr. Explorer to the people on the telephone. Fine. Very difficult last couple days. Everything's cool, great. That was not me, The lady in the comm center said, we saw you, and we can see, the binoculars, they could see the pig from that deck. And now everything was perfect. I had everything I wanted in the world. It was just like everything was perfect. The polk was safe. The pig was safe. I just had sugar. Comms was good. I just set the world record. I'm at the South Pole. What else do I need, right? Everything went away. It was just for that moment. So a guy named Travis said to me, they put me in that clam, and I just laid on the floor. I made a little tape, a little broadcast like, yeah, it's great. They want to take a look at my lungs. They want to take a look at my feet, but life's great. I fell asleep on the floor, and it doesn't have a pad or anything, and it's just ice floor, so I kind of froze to the floor. And when David, the station guy, came back out there, apparently I'd fallen asleep, but I was also coughing, and when I was coughing a little blood too. So there's this guy on the floor going, like coughing blood and asleep. And they thought, maybe we should invite him in. So they did, yeah. And then they figured out what was wrong with my lungs and my feet, and then here I am, like piecing it all back together. The idea of just endurance and moving forward, I think, is just a good one for everyone. You know, I don't think I would want anyone to go through what I just went through, but I want people to seek out. Our society, for some reason, has abandoned the idea that endurance is a good one for people. It's only apparently good for your body or something. But endurance is in every way. For the people who work at the station over the winter months, that's endurance. And it's got an intrinsic value to it. You know, the work out here and, you know, the different components of endurance, I think is beautiful. You know, children should learn that. Hard things are good for you too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, you know what's really strange? Okay, imagine you've just worked 4 years of your life every single day thinking about one thing that's sticking in the ground exactly 50 feet from that window. And I'm inside in a hospital room. It is the most surreal thing, guys. And I'm like, look, and I kept saying, that is the South Pole. Look out that window right now. There it is. There's nothing between me and it. There's a wall right now, and I'm living here right next to it. But it's surreal, yeah, like you said, with cookies. And guys, this is so strange. You know, and it took me so long to get here. Who would have thought that I would have, not got here, but, that I would need, all those things would go wrong, and then I would need this bed, and this bed would be near a place that I've been just dreaming about for 4 years. It's just weird. Yeah, I wake up at night and look out and go, well, not night, but, the night, well, I just look and go, can you believe it? And I climb back in this little bed. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. Yeah. It really is. It's just, how is that possible? I knew there was a station here. I'd been here. There's kind of a public bathroom. I'd been here 4 years ago. They let me come in and wash my face, but there was always, this is kind of like you're not really allowed in here kind of thing. Which for good reason. I'm not saying that. But my wildest imagination, would they give me the nearest bed to the South Pole? Seriously, it is so surreal to my mind.